Good morning, everyone. This is Scott here from TheFlyerMaster. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than we've been working on the last 2 weeks.
Good morning, everyone. This is Scott here from TheFlyerMaster. Today we're going to do something.
Sorry, hearing myself echoing there. Yeah, we're a few minutes late, lots of technical issues as usual. So this week we're going to be looking at building a Rave Flyer design. Which I've been itching to do something like this for a little while. My whole company is built from making Rave Flyers, so definitely looking forward to seeing what we can come up with this morning. Thank you to everyone that's checked out the last 2 live streams. I've really enjoyed doing them. Been a little bit manic. This morning's been crazy trying to get this one ready to go. But it's all something different, and hopefully someone gains some knowledge from these, kind of watching me work. And if you do have any questions, drop a comment on the video. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So without delay, let's get started on this flyer design. So before the video, I just spent a little bit of time grabbing, let me just chuck these in here, grabbing some stock images that I want to make use of for this flyer. So I was thinking of, let's get rid of that, of making something like a base party or something crazy. So the stock photography is obviously going to be a really good starting point for the design. This one in particular, she's got some lovely colours going on, so we can really make something quite vibrant from the design. Obviously, if you're working on a client project or something for a specific event, they might send you some stock photos, and obviously the professional ones are going to really help out there. So let's start bringing this girl in now. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut out 3 different versions because I really want to have each one on here. So part is actually part of the reason why I picked this girl is her hair is not too crazy, so we should be able to get quite a clean cut, apart from the fact that the background that we're going to colour out from is kind of the same colour as her hair. But that should mean if anything goes slightly wrong, it shouldn't be too noticeable. So I think if we start off just by getting her cut out, and then we can work from there. So this is going to be a little bit painstaking. There's a few different methods for cutting out models and images. I'd always recommend kind of layer masks, and at least then you know you're not going to kind of mess up the original image, and also make use of smart objects. This is my personal method for doing this. Is I duplicate this layer, I duplicate the image that I brought in, and then I convert it to a smart object. I've got these as shortcuts, so I convert to a smart object, and then when I come in here, I'll just disable that one. This is just my own little way of doing things. I tend to do things a little bit backwards, so it's all good. So I'm going to use the pen tool to cut her out. Again, there's lots of different methods. There's no right or wrong. Although I had it drummed into me that pen tool is the only way to do it. So that was at college. So I don't think they're wrong. I think it helps if you're then going on to do any kind of vector work, is to be handy with the pen tool. So I'm just looking at, I'm going to try and get it as perfect as possible, but I know that we're live streaming, so I don't want to drag it out too long. So let's get around here. I was looking at this another stock image of someone here's dressed a little bit less, but I thought at 10 o'clock in the morning it might be a little bit much to for the younger viewers. So this is really the time consuming part of any kind of project like this, is getting the prepping your images and planning. I spent around half an hour earlier just trying to figure out what it was I was going to make. There's always a good thing to have a rough idea what you're going to design before you design it. It can be done, but it tends to take a lot longer if you don't come in with a plan of action. So I've kind of got it in my head how I want this to look in the end. There might be a possibility, if there's time, that we'll look at doing some 3D text with this, because I did put out a little poll on Facebook asking what you guys would like to see me make this week, and the choice was between a flyer design and a 3D logo, and it actually ended 50-50, so I got to pick. And but I will, if we don't cover any 3D work in this, definitely next week's video I won't put out a poll. I'll just do a 3D logo using Cinema 4D. Today we're using Adobe Photoshop. Should be the latest version, but older versions you'll be able to do this in. Also, the Affinity Designer, you should be able to make something like this in here. Let's keep going, we're nearly there. Let's say also the other bit of information I might have missed so far is the document size. This one I've done it, they're kind of doing it American sizes because I might use this as a template for sale later. So it's 4 inches by 6 inches, kind of standard flyer size. But it should be able, as long as we're smart about how we design this, it should be able to be scaled quite a lot bigger, because the stock image here should be quite a large size. Yeah, not too bad. So are we nearly there? Are we nearly there? Yeah, we're not too far off, and then we'll have to go in the middle there. But if there's any other designers out there watching this one who work making flyers and stuff like that, you know how many hours you put in to cutting things out, and it's always a good tip to save your cutouts once you've done them, maybe as a PSD file or a TIFF or something like that, and at least then if you need to, you're not ending up cutting things out over and over again. And that's kind of part of why I convert these to duplicate them and convert them to a smart object, is so that I can easily come in after I'm done and just save. I'll save the smart object, normally as a PSB or something like that, depending on the size, and just pop it in my resources, and at least then I know I've got stuff ready to go. I mean, things like this with models, you're probably not going to use the same model on a few different people's designs, but definitely if you're cutting out background elements or buildings, things like that, stuff like that can literally shave hours off of your projects. There we go, we're nearly there. I mean, I don't have to do this little bit perfectly because I think she's going to be behind the text. So we are there. Let's we might have to touch up the hair in a bit. That's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna just do let's get rid of that delete layer mask, and we'll make this into a mask, and at least then we can tweak these if we need to, and nothing's permanent here. realistically the background colour of the actual design will be a similar blue, I think, and at least if there are any discrepancies with this cutout, it's not going to be too noticeable. There's lots of different methods to get a perfect cut, and it would be ideal. This one would have been so easy if they hadn't have put the blue background on, but that's the way it goes. That's not perfect. So just get on this side too. That should do for now. So let's we can come out of here now. I'm going to save that. So it's not too bad. A little bit iffy around here, but we can always go back in later. I think we'll get the base design down. So let's pop her in the middle. I do make use of a lot of guides in my design, so I like to know where the middle is, roughly where. I don't know. I wouldn't know how I calculated them, but we've got the standard print bleeds, so I know that these are no-go areas. And then I just have some rough spacing just to keep things balanced all over, really. So let's bring in the next one. And what I'm going to do is just kind of layer these up. I might have them a little bit faded behind, something like that, but it should look pretty good in the end, hopefully. It always looks a bit messy until we get to those final touches, but actually I'll explain a bit more with this one why I duplicate them and then turn them into smart objects. Is if I delete, if I was to do the same on here, so let's start getting, I'm just doing this really roughly. If I start deleting out some of the background and then do that, it doesn't actually like save it as a smart object because I'm basically turning it into something different. Unless it is a PNG with transparency already, it would work then, but let me know if I'm wrong. If there's a way to do that, that would be awesome. You'd literally, I've been doing this for like probably 10 years, give or take, and always learning new tricks when someone points it out. The technology is constantly changing, so yeah, if there is a different way of doing this that would save me more time, that would be awesome. So let's do this again. I would, if this was something smaller in the background, I would maybe look at doing using one of the select options to just isolate this blue background, but quite a bit of it is kind of filtered in over here, and the fact that her hair is the same colour is just not going to work. It looks actually like the photographer has this would have maybe been shot on a white background and then the blue background's added, but I ran out of time trying to hunt the white one down, so I just grabbed these three. But it should look pretty cool. The colours might get changed at the end. I tend to do lots of colour corrections towards the end of it. But let's just hide these away, otherwise we're going to be snapping to that. So just while I'm cutting this out, I'll just explain a little bit more about my love for Rave Flyers. And I pretty much spent, when I was a lot younger, I used to collect Rave Flyers from the raves that I went to, and I would literally fill my walls. I think at one point I'd completely filled my room, or the room I had at the time, and I used to really see, I kind of take more love from the artwork than the actual event. Like, I always used to grab, I can't remember what they're called. There were packs that you'd literally be given, like, it's a bit like a brown envelope with a cool, it always had a cool design on it. And this was around kind of near Brighton, I suppose. It was Brighton that I'd end up in a lot. And I literally, it used to be like Christmas when I grabbed one of those packs, looking at all the designs, touching and feeling all these different flyers, all these different shapes, the little booklets for, I mean, it's mostly kind of drum and bass stuff that I was into. That was clubs that I was going to. So I know, who was it? I think it was like when Westfest first started, looking through the brochures and stuff like that. I used to love it, and then I'd try and get a few so that I could layer up my wall. I think probably the one that used to stand out the most to me, that was above my turntables, that was like the prize slot, is to go above my turntables. Was I think it was one of the first Innovation in the Dam events. It was like I think it's either green or purple. I know I had a couple up on my wall, and it was all, the art was like hand drawn graffiti style, and for me that just was bang on. They totally captured for me what that scene was about. I definitely at that time in my life, I literally breathed drum and bass. I would be mixing it constantly. If I wasn't mixing it, I'd be headphones in, listening to the sets, or down the record shop, finding records. Oh, hang on, let's get that mask on this one, and then start getting rid of that. So definitely, like, a good rave flyer is something I really love, and I've been really lucky to have been able to make lots of them, and to work with some of the people whose flyers used to go on my wall. I don't get to really go out to the events now. I'm a bit too much going on, but definitely has a big place in my heart, and I absolutely love being involved and getting to kind of add what I perceive as the right kind of look for some of these events. So I think that'll probably do for her. So getting somewhere now. Let's I might have her as a centerpiece. I'm not sure yet. Let's bring this could also end up being a Halloweeny one if I was to like merge her into this three-headed kind of rave beast, but I don't think we will. I was looking at doing a Halloween one when I woke up this morning, because anyone else who currently works in the kind of making artwork for events is aware. You'll probably be working on Halloween ones right now. Lots of organised people. See, someone's liking it. Hey Skipper, what's up? Thank you for checking us out. Right, let's get this third one in. Let's do the same again. So I'd say if you're working on a flyer design that's got a lot of, I suppose, like the lineup side, I would probably look at getting that text laid out first. But for something like this, and normally when someone approaches you to do definitely an event flyer design, they're probably not going to have that lineup information straight away unless you're really lucky. So you'll probably be looking at making maybe the front cover or the what's it called, like an event page advert. So you're going to have the art figured out first, and then you can kind of chuck that behind and mix it up a bit once you've got the lineup text. I don't think we're going to be looking at a lineup for this one. That will be here all day otherwise, and especially if I'm having to make up a lineup. It's normally just a copy and paste job from an email. Let's see. And like I said earlier, if this isn't totally perfect right now, we can always come back in once we've got the layout figured out, and tidy up this. That's why we're using the pen tool here, so that we can move these around if needed. So the average time I tend to spend on, or I aim to spend on a design like this, is around about 90 minutes. I think that gives enough time to get something worked out that's good quality, and doesn't cut in too much. I mean, sometimes it's going to go right over that, and I think it just depends. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong one. Mask. It depends on what you're doing, really. And the thing is with stuff like this is it can be never ending, especially if you're quite indecisive like I am, which is why I like to figure out what I'm doing now before I do it. I used to really be good at someone just going, just do what you want, just make something cool, and I can still do that to a certain degree, but I know that I can't just sit with a blank document. So I'd probably spend quite a lot of time raiding Deposit Photos. I think I've got an account with them with about 300 odd credits, so it makes sense. At least then I know that the quality is going to be good. So probably want her about there. Let's turn this one around. So I think we'll probably aim to have her as central as possible. We're going to pop, the title's going to go around here. Let's just get that a different colour, just so we've got some reference. And actually it's probably going to go around here, and then we'll have some info down here, and then that gives us a lovely bit of space to do something with this. So just hit save. Right, now that's saved, let's start grabbing some colour on here. Now the other thing I didn't mention earlier is I'm currently working in CMYK. I tend to always work in CMYK for flyer designs. I know things are kind of moving on a bit now, and they it's not 100% necessary, because most of the printers now can do it with kind of digital printing, and it doesn't really matter too much. But it's what I've got used to is working in CMYK for print, and at least then I know that whatever these colours are that I make, that I use on my screen, when the poster or flyer or whatever gets printed, it'll match, because it's the default kind of setup for most printers all over the world is CMYK, and we can all easily kind of convert out an RGB version. I usually just do save for web or something similar for online. At least then you know everything is consistent across. There's no tweaks. The only downside is some of the more extreme colours aren't going to come out how they look. We can tweak them using kind of pumping up saturation, stuff like that. But I think we'll get to that towards the end once I've got the layout down. So let's just pop these down a little bit and kind of fade them in. I want to chuck in some more textures in the background. So let's have a look at what we can find. I've got some pre-made stuff actually. Let's have a little look. This is where I ran out of the preparation time. Was I was gonna sort this out and have them ready. So let's grab some abstract 3D texture. That might be a bit too nuts for this one. Didn't I have some more? Yeah, here we go. So something like that might do the job. Oh no, don't give me disk errors. Oh, I know why that would be doing that. Sorry, it kills me a minute. It's because of using Dropbox. There we go. Making use of Dropbox's Smart Sync feature, and some of these files I don't kind of don't have locally, so I disabled the I turned off Dropbox while I was streaming, so that's why it's having a bit of issue there. So this is literally a 3D render of some kind of milk texture that I made years ago. So I just like to chuck in random things and just kind of flick through the different layers, blending modes, until I see something that I like. And I think that's kind of the biggest part of putting together things like this, is experimenting, see what looks right, what doesn't, and that's what will kind of help in the long run, is just building up these textures. So what's in a new folder? Nothing. Oh yeah, this looks like something we could make use of. So again, this is just some random things. I don't want any light in there. Right, let's see what we can do with this. We'll probably cut the colour out of here. And let's put do a gradient map and grab some of these colours from the girl. really find it. So pink, let's try that the other way around. Yeah, it's probably looking more like it. Not sure about that one right now, but this one is doing something that I like. So we'll get rid of these for a moment. And I think I want to have some of this, but solid. Okay. And we're getting somewhere, people. So just let me check something real quick now. Okay. Can everyone hear me all right? Sorry, I've just had a comment that the mic is muted. But as far as I can see, I've got my voice going. So if you are listening, can you just put me a comment and let me know if you can hear me? Because I'd be absolutely gutted if, like, however long, half an hour in, you can't hear me. I think I'd have a little cry. I'm going to just switch this colour to blue. Maybe to white. Not sure. Maybe get a bit of different colour. Oh, thank you, Ash. Had a little panic attack then. That's all good. So I don't know what that person was on about, and why they're telling me that I'm muted. All good. Right. So let's crack on with this design now that that panic is over. So once we've got the artwork, like the kind of art looking how we like it, I'll start putting the text on. Hopefully we can cover all of this design in one session, rather than doing a whole day's worth of streaming. But if we need to, we need to. So we'll see what's going on. I'm pretty sure I did have some other 3D bits that were quite good. And again, if you missed it a moment ago, these are resources that I've made myself using Cinema 4D, and they're just handy for layering things up. I'm gonna do some white and try and take away a bit from these girls, yeah, something like that. So she's really standing out. And possibly get some texture into this background. So I think if we go back into my images, these are, I try my best to keep everything organized, but I'm not gonna lie, it's got a little bit messy lately. I lost a hard drive, died on me, that had all of my resources, about 6 years worth, that were really nicely organized, everything cut out, and the hard drive completely died and couldn't be restored, which was pretty gutting. but all of the resources I can get them again. Most of it is from the same stock site where I have an account. Maybe I can do something with that one. Again, this is just bringing things in and seeing how it looks. Let's pop that below there, make it nice and big, and then we can tweak. I definitely want to keep this background blue, so we could do something like, oh, I think I've actually bought in the nah, that's going to be too dark. Right. I think I bought in the one with all the watermarks on it, so I'll get rid of that. There's a little bit of everything in here, so I'm just trying to find some stuff with some texture. And it's going to be so minimal, but I just don't want it totally crisp. And probably even lower. Just like that. I'll just bring that up a tiny bit. And these girls, I'm going to just bring their opacity up a little bit. And her, she's going to be something like that. So I think we want to have basically when I'm putting something like this together, I'm trying to draw there'll be a lot going on, but the main goal is to kind of draw you into one focal point, which is probably going to be this girl and the title. So everything else from there needs to kind of pull you in, or kind of do the opposite, pull you out. So that's why all of these shapes sticking out. It is me just, I know it is a bit of creative chaos, just chucking things in, but I do know what I'm doing, I promise. There's method to the madness, and hopefully you'll see that at the end. Let's just bring in, maybe try something like this actually, and see how that would look. It'll look a bit too much in the background, but we'll be looking to fade it out. Maybe do gradient map. Something like that. Nah, it's starting to look a bit too dirty. I think what we'll do now, I do want to get something else going on in here just to break it up a little bit. So I'm going to just find a resource that's going to do something for me. Do you want maybe an overlay might do the job. Something like this. So what we'll do is head on to the text now, I think, and start looking at getting a title. I'm going to aim for around this space, but we'll see how it looks. So I'm going to go for, call it base party, something like that. Should do. Normally this stuff would be supplied. So just a case of finding some good fonts. I did prep a couple before, so just to save hours of working this all out. Again, this is going to be the time-consuming part, is figuring out your fonts, figuring out your stock images. Let's just pop that back off a sec. But once you've done it, you've done it. Let's duplicate that down here. Make these white so we can see it. Turn that off. I think we call it base rave, as we're making a rave flyer. So I need something like that, something like this, and maybe match up the no, we'll keep the composition like that. So I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. What I'm aiming to do here is if I just draw over the top, is it going to give me, let me just pick a brighter colour. So here we've got this girl and the rough shape is something like this. So I want to match that down here to kind of balance out the design. Now I know I'm going to have most of the crazy stuff up at the top, but in terms of the key kind of attention grabbing information that is going to be around this kind of shape. It's going to get tweaked a bit because I'm probably going to need to put a line down here for the date and kind of just basic information, but in terms of a rough layout, that's what I'm going for. And then we can start looking at adding getting this text looking a bit better. And this is where, if we have time, I might look at popping this into the 3D suite. So on this particular one, I'm gonna layer it up a bit, but just use colours from in here, from the existing design. So something like that. But I'm gonna do that one as blue. The darker I can get it, the more that white is gonna pop out. Something like that, and we add a slight gradient here, just a teeniest bit, just so it doesn't look so flat. We can also make use of kind of shadow. Oh no, sorry, I'm not using the right one. Bit of drop shadow, bit of rainbow gradient maybe. And just kind of want to make this jump out a little bit, ever so slightly. Might even be able to do something with some bevel. Again, this is just playing around with some different settings, just seeing if we can get just a tiny bit of texture, just like that, just enough to make it stand out. So you can actually try and do some of this by, I'm not going to have the strokes on her, but we can bring that drop shadow and the bevel over as well, and it just brings her out a bit. And I'm going to just fill in the gaps behind here so that we can delete her legs. So on a new layer we can just do wait, I'm doing it wrong. Right, I need to just bring this effect onto there and then bring that into here, and it'll do what I want it to do then. Or not. That one needs to go onto there. Yeah, that'll do. I'm getting a little bit muddled now. Right. Let's bring that into there as well and see. And we'll do this one slightly different colour. Maybe get some kind of pink going on. I think we'll leave those off of there and we'll just use a box for this. That's something like that. We could also make it a bit wonky. maybe a little bit smaller. Let's get rid of our legs. No, that's one, this one. Maybe bring her up a bit as well. And then I think we can manually start bringing in some circles here, just to get this design sticking out a little bit more. Let's make sure that they're bang in the middle. Is it that one that's sticking out? Yeah. So on here, I'm just going to basically clean up. I want to have this area down here as clear as possible, so that we can bring what am I trying to say? So that I can just pop some event info down here and have it without really having to put any extra effects. So let's do like a nice clean font, like something like that would do. Bring this right down. Grab a colour from in here. Again, we want to keep away from this area here. So this is where my guides can definitely help me, is get that kind of in the middle of there, and then we know it's spaced out. So we'll just put 21st, we'll do something like that, 21/08 2019 at TheFlyerMaster, something like that. Now I'm actually going to change the font because I don't like how those numbers have come out. I love how the text is. I don't like how that symbol is. So bear with me a moment and we'll find font. Good opportunity to hit that save button. We don't want to lose an hour's worth of work. So let's have a look and try and find something nice and clean. No, it's still a bit too blocky. This is what I was hoping wouldn't happen in the live stream, is that we have to start digging for fonts. Why don't we go for something that we know is going to work, like Big Noodle. I still don't like the @ symbol on that though. What's some other good fonts? Nice clean ones. I want to try and not use a premium font, so that anyone who's kind of following along can replicate that that look. No, I don't think that was. We might have to have a quick look. Let's get rid of some of these. And we'll see. So that's the one I was using. And maybe something like that. Let's grab it. Oh, actually, let's do it the proper way. Excuse me a moment, I'm just making sure I'm getting the habit of doing this the right way. Otherwise, we'll be just speed things up for later. Let's get the let's bring it into this something called Font Awesome. Evo Gira. And that should look pretty good. I really hope it's got the numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, I think we can make that work. Maybe space it out correctly. It might get changed in a minute. What about that symbol? Something like that. That could work, I suppose. Or we're just writing it out. 21st of August. Something like that. Maybe try this down on the. No, I don't like that. And then here we can grab a colour off of there. Something like this. We go a little bit smaller and a bit more spaced out. We're on 9 and do 6. More info. So make sure that that's in that safe zone. Okay. Hit save again. Shut that window a sec. Right. Let me just have. Sorry, I've just seen loads of comments on Twitch. Right. There's no spurt. Lovely. It's saying that my volume is -1. How do I have to look into that. That's a bit odd. But anyway, let's crack on with the design. So I think we're definitely getting somewhere with it. So I'd say if we aim to spend another 20 minutes or so, and then that could pretty much be this in one hit, and I can get out in the sun. So I think we're going to need to add just a little bit of depth. Again, we're trying to draw the eye in. So we can do that with a gradient. Just make sure we've got the right colours selected first. So I'm going to select there, but I'm going to go a bit darker. And then we can do a gradient, do a radial one, but reverse it, and then kind of scale it out a bit. That's looking a lot more like it. And let's bring that texture back up a little bit now that we've got some text on here. I think we'll maybe just have it on the lower half. So we can use a mask again. Let's make sure we're not going in too hard. It should dirty that up. And then we can do the same. Where's all these circles? Maybe just see now that we've got these in. I think maybe they still do need to be like that. So let's group these in. Just play around with a few settings really and see where we can get to. But I want to make sure I don't want to have the these circles on this girl's face. Probably the same with some of this needs to go as well. I'll come back to that in a minute because I'm getting distracted by the colours here. So now that this is a bit darker down here, I think we will make this white. And I think this might need to be white as well. let's have a little look at this one as well. Maybe bring this into black. Make the text here slightly different colour. And we can also make use of these again, maybe. Let's bring them above here. Make them a bit bigger. We'll bring them right down there. We might be able to do get some blurs going on and really draw your eye in, but we'll work out these colour corrections first. So we had this saturation boost from earlier, which I think could still get used here. I think I'm going to double this up but make it black and see how that looks, because that should get some really nice vibrance going on. Get rid of that. You could also maybe look at bringing in some lights. Let's see if we can make our own, and if that doesn't really work, we can maybe bring some stock ones in. Whoop. Right, let's make that a bit fuzzier, a bit bigger. Let's go a lot bigger. So again, I just kind of flick through the blending modes. It's normally kind of screen or the other one, the add. That one tends to work better in RGB. So again, it's just pulling out all the tricks to bring your eyes in. And you can also add in a gradient map. Something like that, overlay. I think if we grab another one of these, just try and get that text looking a little bit more interesting. trying to figure out what's causing that little yellow bit over here. I think it's that one. There we go. Okay, so let's keep looking at these colours. Maybe grab something for up there. Might have to tweak this a bit because I think it's got a line. But let's have a little look at how it might look in some other colour combos, because then we can tweak it from there and get something crazy going on. But we can also isolate some colours. Okay. I would like to just try and get a bit more yellow in here. So it might just be on this base. Let's just try yellow. Don't think it's going to work too well. I think maybe just find the speaker as well. Might look good. Let's go images, see if I've got some already. Don't know about speaker ball. Okay, we'll leave that because I think we're going to end up dragging it out quite a lot longer if we start mucking around with that. So I'm just going to look at isolating a few colours here and changing them without changing her skin colour, and just see what kind of effects we can get. It's quite a powerful tool, the selective colour, and it's a lot of the time it's how I can kind of get some more punchy colours out of a CMYK document. then what I'm doing now is just going back through and making sure I'm happy with each part. So this will just take a few minutes, and it possibly might change again. We'll see. Just want to make sure that I've got the colours looking how I quite like it. Right, let's get rid of that. And I think maybe we'll blur this out a little bit more. Like that, sorry. Right at the last minute, changed the background colour, but I thought it looks like it needed something a bit different. Let's group these. So they're the lights. This is the colour corrections. So just pop those off for a minute while I just get the right colour for this. And what I do a much better job is a gradient. But we'll go just cancel that, sorry, and we'll get this. We want to have a gradient that goes from something like that. And then the last little trick before we finish up, let's just see how this will look. So we'll grab our text. No. Grab that text. And then we can grab all of this. And just duplicate it onto one flat layer. And I basically just want to add an iris blur to this, again, to just draw more focus in. This is something you can only really do on finished pieces. And I've just seen that there's a little bit of tidying up to do on this one as well, so I'll have to look at that in a bit. So something like that. Okay, and that's just going to give us that last little bit of depth that we need. But while we're just on this live stream of it, I do want to get this finished up properly, so I'm going to just tidy up this girl because her arm is looking a bit crazy. So I'll just pick a colour that's quite different than the other ones. It might even be black. Now we might be able just to shift the edge of this in. That'd be the easy one. So we can contract that by, let's try with one first. We'll do it down on this one. Yeah, I think that would be enough to do the job there. So let's just do that process again. Now actually, if I do this as a smart object, we can edit it again. Maybe just do this as a slightly different colour. Make our lives easier. Let's see if we bring this above all the colour corrections, and then we can just pick the right colours. And I'm just going to tweak that a little bit more, just to try and get her arm in. Let's try some other stuff. Turn off that blur. be able to do something like this. Just isolate one of the colours. Let's just bring in a couple of lights and then we'll call it a day. So let's go until I've got some lights in there. Maybe something like, I have to delete some bits off this, but maybe something like this into here. Let's go a bit smaller, but figure it out. Right, I think that'll do for right now. I'm just going to add that little blur back on so that we can see. I was just tweaking around with a few colours. Maybe we could get something. Let's just add. Do you know what, actually? I think we'll just add some blur to these two. Fill a blur. Go back. Just to add a bit of depth to it, really, and at least that way we're not affecting the back of the design too much. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe blur some of the that one. No, they're not liking being blurred. Alright. Blur the whole lot of it. Fill blur. And one last little blur to this one. Filter. Let's just do something a bit different with this one. Maybe try and make it look like what they call like a neon sign. turn this off. Sorry, I'm just trying to colour match the this rectangle. I think that's white because the text isn't quite the right colour.